Kuaishou Technology just IPO'd a few weeks ago and its share price has shot up more than 250% since then. Why is Kuaishou so special and is this a company worth investing in? Let's find out! Hi guys, Stanley here. TikTok is the largest short video platform in the world and we have done a video explaining its rise to the top. So remember to check that video out as well. But even though it seems that TikTok is taking over the world, there is still a fierce competitor hot on its heels in China, and that is Kuaishou Technology. Kuaishou, which means fast hands in Chinese, is the top competitor to TikTok in China, and it has just raised more than 5.4 billion through an IPO in Hong Kong 2 weeks ago. The social platform has now more than 302 million daily active users, and it has a valuation more than 220 billion. That is larger than companies like Pinterest, Twitter, Lyft, and Zoom combined. So definitely a company worth for us to look more into. But before we begin, if investing is something new to you, I would highly suggest that you check out our free investing course at valueinvestasia.com/free course. It will help you get up to speed with the basics of investing so you can enjoy our content to the best possible way. And with that, let's start. Although the short video format is made popular by TikTok, Kuaishou is actually one of the first few companies that experiment with this format. Kuaishou was founded by Chen Yixiao in 2011. Before founding Kuaishou, he was working in the social network renren.com, a China clone of Facebook. He then created an app called GIF Kuaishou, a tool to help users make more interesting GIF images. Through a meeting, Chen Yixiao impressed a VC from Morningside, Henry Zhang. Henry helped Chen Yixiao incorporate the company with a 2 million renminbi investment for a 20% stake. Within a year, the name of the app was changed to just Kuaishou. The first problem that they have was that the app was merely just a tool at that moment. User was using it to create interesting GIF images, but sharing those creations on other social networks. Henry then advised Chen Yixiao to start a community platform within the app so that they can harness all this content. However, as Chen Yixiao is more of an engineer by training, he's more focused on the product side and not that well suited to handle growing a business and a community. He went around looking for investment from other VCs but came back empty-handed. So it became clear that they need another co-founder. This is when Henry introduced Shuhua into the company. Shuhua is a tech entrepreneur. He has worked for both Google and Baidu before, and he has also created his own startup where he successfully sold it to Alibaba, making him financially free in the process. So Kuaishou needed to offer something big for Shuhua and his team to join the company. At that time, the shareholding of Kuaishou is owned by Morningstar Capital at 20% and 80% is owned by Chen Yixiao and his team. So to give in to Shuhua, both agreed to give up half of their share, giving a 50% stake to Shuhua and his team. It was a big gamble, but it paid off. With the full team formed, the turbocharged growth era of Kuaishou began. And Kuaishou was very quickly able to attract investment from large VC firms like Sequoia Capital during its Series A funding. With funding in hand, the objective became clear: to improve the product, build the community, and just repeat the process. Unlike most app and social network which focuses on attracting users from tier 1 and 2 cities, Kuaishou was focusing on growing its users from the lower tier cities and in rural China. And this allowed the company to grow extremely fast, serving a community that has been underserved for so many years. However, as the company grew, so did the media coverage, and not all of them were positive. For example, in 2013, due to a negative press indicating that Kuaishou is encouraging content that were demonizing the rural community, it marks the first big crisis for the company. This is because as the rural content creators were trying to outdo one another and create viral content, they were doing more and more extreme stuff like self-mockery, self-harm, and many other unsavory content just to gain popularity. This prompted regulators to start looking into Kuaishou as well. After that, Kuaishou tried to clean up its content. However, the negative press also increased the attention of other companies, in particular the big BAT, and one fast-growing startup that is trying to diversify away from its social news business. And that company was ByteDance. So within that same year, ByteDance started its own short video app. And the copycat king of China, Tencent, also launched its own version called Weishi. However, Weishi was never able to compete with Kuaishou. So in 2017, Tencent did another thing that they were so good at beside copying. They invested directly into Kuaishou. At the beginning, the competition between Kuaishou and TikTok, or Douyin as it is known in China, were quite mild. It was because Kuaishou were growing from rural China, while TikTok were growing mainly in the tier 1 and 2 cities. They were targeting a completely different crowd. However, the key tension started when both companies tried to expand overseas, in particular over the acquisition of Musical.ly. Musical.ly was a short video app created in China, but focusing on the overseas market, and it was doing very well in markets like the US. By 2017, the company were up for sale, and both TikTok and Kuaishou wanted it. However, Kuaishou lost out on the bidding for Musical.ly, and that was a major point of tension between the two companies. TikTok was also growing very well in markets like Japan, Thailand, and Vietnam. Yet there were one overseas market that Kuaishou was doing better, and that is an important market. That market is South Korea. And South Korea became a key battleground between the two companies. TikTok started its massive marketing campaign trying to boost its market share at all costs. Both companies were sponsoring major shows in Korea, using all kinds of techniques to gain market share in the country. Korea is an important market even though its population is only less than 4% of China. This is because South Korea is the modern cultural center of Asia, with the popularity of K-pop. So South Korea is basically the cool kid of Asia, and a win in South Korea will have spillover effect on all other Asian countries, including China. And by 2018, as TikTok integrated Musical.ly, it became clear that TikTok was winning in all international markets. The battle in China was also getting messier. As both apps grew, their audiences started converging. As mentioned, Kuaishou has the audience in rural and lower tier cities, while TikTok has the audiences in tier 1 and 2 cities. But as Kuaishou attacked from bottom up and TikTok from top down, they have to meet sooner or later. In the beginning, Kuaishou was actually the leader in the short video space, and TikTok was the challenger. Tension was high and there were many accusations of copying one another during this period. Some of the spat from top management were very public as well. But the result was TikTok successfully took the lead from Kuaishou, and Kuaishou never won it back again. Being second is still highly commendable, as it is a space where all the big tech like Baidu, Tencent, Alibaba, Weibo has all failed to gain traction. And being number 2 does not mean that the growth is over for Kuaishou. Today, Kuaishou have 302 daily active users and 776 million monthly active users. China itself has 873 million mobile internet users, and that number is expected to grow to 1.1 billion by the year 2025. Short video platforms are also highly addictive, with users spending more than 85 minutes a day on it. On Kuaishou, there were also a high percentage of creators. 26% of its monthly active users are creators. In comparison, less than 5% of the users on YouTube are creators. Kuaishou's main business today includes live streaming, which they introduced back in 2016. This is the largest part of their business, generating about 62% of the revenue. Kuaishou will earn a fee when the audiences buy a virtual gift for the creator during live streaming. It is extremely profitable, but also very competitive, given that almost all platforms in China have a live streaming feature now. Nonetheless, it is still a market expected to be growing at 20% a year in China. Next part of their business is online marketing, which is mainly advertising. Ads can be placed on their platforms or on third-party partners, and this part of the business produces about 33% of revenue for them. They also have other segments of businesses like games and e-commerce, but those are very small at the moment. The company generated more than 40 billion RMB in the first 9 months of 2020. And it has been doubling its revenue every year since 2017. It also has a very high gross margin of 38%, showing the huge pricing power of the company. However, due to marketing expenses, the company is still making losses till today. There are also talks of more regulational risks ahead. China has already banned users under 18 from purchasing virtual gifts on all platforms. And there were talks on putting a cap on live streaming gifting as well. But regulation risk is always there for all companies. So Kuaishou Technology is definitely a very interesting company with huge prospect. It is well positioned for the future of mobile internet entertainment and has proven itself to be able to compete in a highly competitive space against all the big tech giants in China. I will be keeping this company on my watch list, but there are also news that TikTok might be planning an IPO for itself soon. That might be one for us to watch as well. So that's it for me. If you enjoyed this video, please give us a like, sub, and share. My name is Stanley. Till we meet again, invest safely.